Now, your book has reignited the row over the name Lilibet, chosen by the Sussexes for their daughter, Princess Lilibet. What's the truth in this? Headlines about the Queen being angrier than aides had ever seen her. What was she angry about?
She wasn't angry. It wasn't specifically about the name. It was the issue that followed. We don't know the precise nature of the conversation between the Queen and Harry. Of course, that's private. But she was contacted. She was told, we're calling the baby Lilibet. Who knows what she said? That's nice, whatever. And it was then put out that the Queen had given this her blessing. And shortly afterwards, the BBC put out a story saying that the Queen hadn't been asked. And the Sussexes got very angry about this and started sort of firing off legal letters saying, how dare you? And then from the palace, there was a resounding silence. They weren't going to endorse their version of events. And it was that row. It was about saying,
it was about being dragged into. It was
about being dragged into it, but also being told, you said this. And you don't tell the Queen to say things that she didn't recall saying. So it was a classic case of recollections may vary. And that's what made her upset. Not the name. I mean, she adored Harry. She adored Lilibet.
You've got a chapter on the decommissioned dukes, as you call them. Prince Harry, what, from your experience of the King, does he really think? We're always told, well, the door's always open to his son. Is it?
Yes.
How angry is he that his mother's, the last years of her reign, were marred by this row with the Sussexes, and that the start of his reign has been overshadowed by it, with the release of Spare, for example?
Certainly in the first few weeks of the reign, I mean, from October 2022 to January 23, there was sort of something going on in that territory pretty much every week. You had a new series of The Crown, you had Harry and Meghan's 6-part series on Netflix, and then, as you say, the publication of his memoir, Spare, which was full of all sorts of inside revelations about family life. The King, he has this ability to sort of compartmentalize. He doesn't wake up every day or go to bed every night sort of thinking, oh no, what about my brother? What about my younger son? There are things beyond his control. He can't really, he's got enough to worry about things that are in his control as monarch. I mean, obviously he's sad. He's sad that his adored younger son has gone abroad and he doesn't see that much of him, but he's an optimist about it. At least that's.
He thinks there'll be some kind of reconciliation.
He hopes. He lives in hope that and as I say, the door is open, and I think there will be a sort of rapprochement. I mean, I thought it was very interesting the way that Harry, he came back for his father's coronation, and it was very correct. He didn't. There was no upstaging anybody, no grandstanding. He was very modest. Actually, he sort of came in some way before his place in the pecking order would dictate. And he was there. And I noticed on the way, as the King came past in the procession, Harry bowed his head longer than almost anybody. And then he was off again. And it was done completely low profile. It was like, this is my father's day, nothing to do with me, I'm out of here. So I think there will be a rapprochement of some sort. How the two brothers patch things up, I think that's an entirely different issue, because Harry's book does contain a lot of very intimate sort of childhood shared experiences, and we know that William is a very the Prince of Wales now is a very private person who guards his privacy. But we'll have to see. But I think if you read Spare, actually the picture that comes out of both father and brother is actually a very endearing one.
Well, apart from the fight with the brother and the dog, bowl
but
breaking, for example. But yes.
And you mentioned the King. It's a happy reign, and certainly the King seems to have grown into his role. The Queen is instrumental in this, and
Queen Camilla is absolutely is a great sort of influence and presence around the house.
And you can see the way they laugh and joke together, for example.
They really do. They go on. I was with them on their tour of their state visit to Germany earlier in the year, and they are a great double act. And as I was saying earlier, you know, when he's running a bit over time and everyone's a bit nervous, what do we do?
Prods him.
She uses the sharp end of her handbag in the small of his back, and he goes, "Oh right." You know, it's a great sort of they're a great partnership.
And what about the nickname? I was going to say that's the nickname for the Queen.
Oh well, yes, that was an old family nickname years back. I mean, not nowadays, but yeah, Lorraine.
Lorraine, yes.
And the French La Reine. But the grandchildren call her Gaga.
And very quick
cute.
final thought: that the King happy to be monarch. What of William and his view on his prospects?
Well, you know, talking to people around him, and I do compare the two of them. I mean, they're different characters. They're generationally different. Charles likes classical music and theatre and opera and thick books and big briefing notes. And William, as one of his friends said, like he's a regular guy. He likes his, you know,
and
he
the
likes
church.
action flicks. Yeah, and he's not. Charles is a sort of very spiritual person. He goes on retreats and pilgrimages and goes to church every Sunday. William doesn't. Now, that obviously raises the question of one day, you know, when William is king, he'll have to be supreme governor of the church and defender of the faith. Now, if he's not if he's not a professed, you have to, you know, by law, at the Coronation Oath Act, you have to swear to be a faithful Protestant. Now, we don't know, you know, what will happen, but I mean, that obviously raises questions about, you know, his dedication to this 500-year-old institution. I suspect, you know, he's not a sort of combative person. He doesn't go and seek problems. So I don't think he's going to be seeking to disestablish the church, but it could raise questions.
I'm sorry, I'm going to have to do like a prod like we do to King Charles on a walkabout, because we are out of time. But Robert, we could talk to you for ages. Thank you very much indeed for joining us.